So, everybody, this is Kris Howitt. I'm going to have you do the introduction. Why don't you tell people who you are?
I'm currently with the director of security architecture with Live Nation Entertainment. For anybody who doesn't know what Live Nation Entertainment is, we also own Ticketmaster, House of Blues, a number of the musical festivals. I'm second on a cough drop at the same time. It's completely professional, by the way. Let's see. I've actually been in the security game for years. Not only on the entertainment side, I used to work for NBC, Universal, as well as in the banking world for Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi for quite some time before that. Once again, another great benefit of this industry, whether it be anything with IT. I do a lot of remote work, and so really my work companion here is my dog. So, anyways, but yeah, it's a great industry for those of you who want to get into IT in any aspect. It's lucrative, and really we don't have enough people. Definitely, I can speak from the security side. If you do the research, we do not have enough engineers. We don't have enough analysts. If for anybody who wants to jump into it more than I'm thrilled, Zach, that you're jumping in the Security Plus and your CCNA. As far as those certs, those are definitely ones that I recommend.
Well, here's something for you, because it's something that you actually talked to me quite a few times about. Is how you recommend the CCNA and how much value you put on that. Why is that? Why do you like the CCNA so much for security? Like when you're telling me about it, you're talking to me from the security side of things. So what's so important about that?
The security's got a lot of different aspects to it. I mean, and some folks, I know some folks when they talk about it, they want to go into 99% of the time I hear folks, they say, I want to hack, I want to pen test, and that's great. But on top of that, there's really a lot of other roles within security that need to be filled, whether it be compliance, whether it needs to be architecture, which is which is currently my bag, whether it be even security operations. Underlying all of those is definitely a need to understand network, to understand basic network concepts. And I don't mean necessarily just going into a router and being able to configure the router and switching, but really basic understanding of how a network works, subnetting, really how routers will talk to each other, even externally, not necessarily for an internal internet, but on the intranet as well. Really trying to give yourself an understanding of how computers talk to each other, because that's really the foundation of all that. And so if you have a good foundation on networking, that's the first step, in my opinion. My very, very humble opinion. After that, any security certs you get on top of that are just the next layer and next icing on top of that to give you the skills you need to really take on the bad guys and play defense, and help out companies that need security, because everybody needs security. I mean, if you've seen the news,
yeah,
whether it be Target, Equifax is huge for everybody. That was a big shakeup. Yeah. So. Yeah. And if anything, it's been, everybody tries to avoid that, but once again, these things happen, and when that stuff happens, we need more engineers out there to be able to help out and respond to that stuff.
Yeah. So I know this is something that you've mentioned it in the chat in a live stream before, I believe, and also on Discord, that you guys were trying to hire somebody. You were trying to hire an analyst position or something like that, right?
Yeah, I'm actually hiring for a security architecture role right now. It'd be on my team. It would be a slightly seasoned role, so you definitely would have to have networking background.
Yeah, can you tell us about like what it is that you're looking for that type of role?
For that particular role, well, let's see. Where I am currently in that particular role, three major layers that we have to get associated to that. One is definitely an understanding of networking. CCNA would definitely prove that, or give us an idea of that you understand at minimum the basics. So it really is kind of like what you most places are going to need. You'll understand the concepts of not only routing and switching, but also things like proxies, load balancers, you name it. That's number one. Networking is like fundamental. Second, and you mentioned this early in the stream, for the hot jobs really for the next year, AWS is one of the things that in this particular case I'm looking for. Cloud is huge. Cloud is changing everything we understand about network and how business is done. And just to give you an idea, I'm heavy into AWS. I know there are folks out there who are into Google or Azure. And if you have one preference as far as cloud technologies are concerned that you want to go for, that you want to study, that's cool. I'm just gonna start one tiny blurb about AWS. AWS is 14 times bigger than all the other cloud cloud entities combined. I mean, they're gigantic. And it's not. Yeah, it's not. I was at. I didn't go this last year, but the year before that, I went to AWS Reinvent, which is Amazon's cloud convention, and
their cloud party.
The cloud party, and it is a party. It's insane. It's crazy. It's the work that you're doing over there with machine learning, AI, you name it. They're taking the next steps where it wouldn't be long. It wouldn't be surprising. And we're already seeing it where a lot of startups are cloud only. It wouldn't surprise me to see that more and more startups and more companies start doing that, especially as Amazon either lowers their costs or makes it even that much more economical to really to perform data center work. So if you're once again another cert, if folks are looking for their future on top of network, if they're looking into network administration or security, will be this is how this happens when I don't hit my do not disturb. The AWS certifications are outstanding, and I would definitely recommend getting in on that now while you can, because really you have a lot of people certified for that, but it's not. I think that it still hasn't been realized by a lot of the industry how much AWS is, or really cloud in general, is affecting everybody. Like I said, I used to work for banking. Cloud was a 4-letter word. I go over there like, we're not doing cloud, forget it. Now every single bank is getting into cloud, so it's big.
So that there was one more thing I think you probably slipped your mind with all the chaos.
Sorry, I have a tendency to rant and rave. You have I have networking, cloud. Oh, you know what? And the third one, and this is big. And there is no certification for this, which is the scary part. Soft skills.
Oh yeah,
soft skills. Yeah, it is amazing when one works on developing their ability to communicate, not only to end users but to the engineers as well. You need to be able to translate tech, geek, and nerd to the end users who may not necessarily be tech savvy. Despite the fact that we find more and more people becoming tech savvy as businesses advance and expand, there's still a whole lot of folks who don't necessarily work on that skill set and learn how to communicate that. I found that it's been great not only for my career, but I see it actually helping careers of others who, whether it be simply for the interview process, where I've been in some interviews that were just really, really painful to sit through, and other ones where like it's been it's shooting the breeze kind of conversation, because those you're able to talk on that level and do really well. So yeah, once again, soft skills are huge.
Yeah, I think a lot of people undervalue soft skills and how much they're needed when they're starting to look at here's all the things that I need to get into this field, or here's all the certifications and degrees and everything I need to get into this field, right? And anybody can go out and take all the certs and degrees and all that stuff. But nobody kind of takes in consideration that, these soft skills are actually something that it's really a requirement that a lot of places are starting to put more emphasis on for their roles, for what they're hiring for. You see it a lot on applications is, great communication skills or they put some type of emphasis on that application process about communication skills, because they are very important.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're not putting them down on there just for, kicks and giggles. When they put it onto that, they really want people who are able to communicate. Usually, sometimes you see that because folks who were there before they were either the type of engineers or admins who build the wall in front of them so that the non-technical folks can't peer in and don't necessarily have visibility into what's really going on, or simply the folks just didn't have proper skills to be able to communicate what was going on. Transparency within the industry and internally within security and network, I find in my experience has been very, very important, very key to ensure that really you have smooth operations and you don't have what we call shadow IT of folks running off and doing stuff on their own, whether it be deploying their own equipment or running out, setting up their own accounts they aren't supposed to be setting up under our nose, and then you have having for problems like that. And at least where at the place I work. In addition, in any city, and I find I can say this definitely about LA. I can't necessarily speak about this for Silicon Valley or DC or anything like that, but for sure the information security community is tight. It's a very tight community. You end up seeing a lot of the same people at a lot of the same events. We end up going out to Black Hat and DEFCON, and it's weird to go to a whole nother state and just see all the same people that you generally see already. Which one shows that once again we don't have enough people in this industry that we need to try and bring in. And
I don't know. When I went to Black Hat, I have never seen so many nerds in my life. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I never really debriefed after that Black Hat one. I know you met a lot of people out there, but
yeah, oh my gosh. Actually, when I went to DEFCON though, like when I was walking through there, like so many more nerdy people. So many more nerds. It was great.
It's a different culture.
Oh,
sure.
For sure.
And if anything, yeah, I think that if the audience isn't aware, so Black Hat is I know they've been following on your channel, but Black Hat is definitely the premier security conference that occurs in Las Vegas every year for professionals. It's relatively pricey, and if you're able to get in, definitely in the expo alone, you're going to meet a lot of folks who from different companies representing security. DEFCON is more for the hacker mindset. It's pretty much, I think this last year was like $250 or something like that at the door. You can't buy tickets until you get there unless you pre-register at Black Hat, and that's more along the stuff of hacking voting machines, hacking cars.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole village dedicated to picking locks. Yeah, you're right. Different type of nerds. Different type of nerds altogether.
Yeah. I hope I can go next year, because I would really actually like to attend DEFCON. So I wasn't actually able to attend. I got to walk around like real quick, but I wasn't actually able to attend it. So
we'll talk. I'm actually this is not set in stone yet. But I have a friend who actually is on the Blue Team Village team who sets up over there. They were looking for one great thing about DEFCON. If you want to get in, volunteer. That's another thing they need is volunteers. But I might be helping out the Blue Team over there as well this year. So yeah, we'll talk. We'll see what we can do.
All right, that's fine. Well, I mean, we talk all the time anyway. I bother you all the time. Here, Zazin69 has a question. I want to hear your input on this, because it's a question I actually receive fairly often, and it's: will virtualization and automation cause mass job loss in IT? What are your thoughts on that?
No. If anything, it's going to change the landscape, but I'm not going to say it's going to cause mass job loss. Let me specify the types of things that I see where job loss does occur in IT. Are the folks who are dedicated to one particular type of technology, one particular brand of technology, and don't evolve beyond that. When I was working in the financial industry for security over there, I had a little cartoon in my cube one cartoon, and it was a dinosaur looking out of the sign that said "Evolve or Die." It was just a reminder to myself, really, and of continually. One thing in IT, you don't sit on your laurels. Whether you are a company or whether you are an employee, you don't sit on your butt all day and do the same thing using one technology only. Otherwise, everything will pass you by. I mean, years ago, 20 years ago, you had folks working for US Robotics pumping out modems that were, hey, we're going to, putting out shotgun modems. These are going to be the fastest thing that consumers are going to want. DSL and cable came along, and that pretty much wiped out the entire dial-up industry altogether. It's only those companies that are able to pivot into new business models that are able to survive. AOL, everybody knew what AOL was at the time. That was to dial in. Now they pivoted into media and to entertainment websites and such instead. It's not the same thing, but it does really well. It isn't. Changing the landscape changes, but virtualization and automation are just part of that evolution. We are seeing, once again, with cloud, tech become more virtualized as we have less and less people putting things in data centers. And then at the same time, automation is huge in security. I mean, everything, if you can automate it, that's what everybody wants to be able to do, because once again, I am speaking for security, the threats that you encounter in security, whether it be malware, folks that trying to attack in from the outside, insider threats, you name it, it will bombard you. But yeah, virtualization and automation are not going to change folks who are constantly keeping up with technology and keeping up with the industry. You definitely want to stay relevant. Just make sure you don't rest on your laurels. Make sure you don't stay with, I am just an admin for Linux or something like that. This flavor only. Like I only do Ubuntu and that's it. Ubuntu may go away. Maybe we wanted something else, or Red Hat or something like that. Just don't stick with one. Try and be a master of, or at least jack of all trades on all of that, and then you kind of work your way through it. I definitely don't think that it's really a good idea to embed yourself like that. So
awesome. No, I mean, I agree.
I hope that answers the question.
I don't know. I mean, I actually agree with everything you said, because if you're not evolving, you just get left behind, and then you put yourself out of a job because you're not taking it further with yourself, and you're not understanding the new technologies and how to pivot yourself into your next job.
Right. Right.
So it's all on you.
Which is, once again, why one of the things I thought was just fascinating about your channels was it really is helping a lot of folks with their evolution from whatever it is they're doing into IT, or if they're already in IT, how to advance themselves even further and pivoting into really something one I'm assuming would be lucrative for them, and on top of that, relevant and up to date. So it's a good work you do, man. I know I've been asked this before. On the outside, some folks have asked what certs I've got. I've actually got my ITIL version 2, so that's old. CCNA, I have my CCNA security as well. I actually knocked that out the same day that I knocked out my CCNA. My certified ethical hacker, my GSEC, which is a SANS certification. I don't know if you cover. I don't know. I haven't heard you cover SANS a whole lot on this channel. I think I know that I'll tell you right now, that one was probably the most nerve-wracking certification, despite the fact it's technically a basic security certification. It was nuts because it covered the whole gambit of every single operating, Windows, Linux, Mac, breaking down packets. We're using Wireshark, things like that. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I think it was like 4 hours in open book, and I still barely made it. So,
oh man,
we can get into that, but yeah, we're sure there's there's a lot of in my opinion, every certification has its merits. A few of them may even have their downside to them as well, but in the end, really having them under your belt will definitely help get folks in the door at minimum past the HR guards. because let's be honest, that's really how a lot of the big companies operate. If they have a formalized HR department, is where once your resume gets bumped in, they're going to start looking at what search you have as keyword searches, and then that helps out a lot. So I once again, I think the stuff you're doing is great, and I really think that it's going to be helpful for your viewers and listeners as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So somebody said they're starting to learn Python. What are your thoughts on Python? How often do you guys utilize Python?
It's very heavily. Python's it. It's, learn one thing right now as far as a scripting language or a program. Learn Python. I know you've been getting into it as well. One of the big things that a lot of folks do, in this regards to any company, is the tools that they have that are security tools, whether it be open source or something they bought, getting the tools to talk to each other. Now, that's part of the automation that was brought up earlier. You got to have everything automated, or at least you're talking to each other to make your life easier, whether you're an analyst, an engineer, or something else altogether. Python helps you with that by scripting everything to make things easier to do. Right. If anything, we managed to put together stuff, things to allow systems to talk to each other and make it easier for even end users who may not necessarily be as technical, accomplish things through like a menu that's in a Python script to get things done. So yeah, if anything, Python's been huge. I don't see it going away.
It's only gotten bigger. Like the last couple of years, I was just reading an article the other day about how much Python has just grown, and it just continues.
Yeah. There's no, for a while we thought it was going to be, Perl or something like that was going to take over, but Python's been so relevant in everything. When I was, I used to do auditing, also IT auditing. As
sorry.
part of when I was. It's okay. It's like I become my own worst enemy at that point. When I was working for the studio system, one of the things we did was actually look at Python hardening for certain things and things like that, and we saw a lot of that happening. So it was like not only being able to script in Python, but do it in a secure way. If you can show that within a portfolio, it'd be great. That's amazing.
That's good.
On top of that, and on top of that, developers. I mean, you see a lot of people develop apps and stuff like that. Python's, even with Swift, maybe on the iOS side being a little easier to use, Python on the back end is key. So yeah, you're gonna learn something, learn Python.
I agree. I've been trying to learn it, and I've enjoyed it so far. And I'm somebody who just hates programming, so the fact that I actually enjoy it's kind of it really tears at me. So I'm like, how have I hated programming for so long and just like despised it, and now I'm like, oh wow, this is actually kind of fun. I want to continue to do this.
Good on you. If it's fun for you, all the better. I mean, I'll be honest, programming for me is like pulling teeth kind of thing, because it's I'll just sit there with my command line and thinking, oh, where do I begin?
Right.
But once you get into it, I think at minimum, even if you aren't able to write in Python, if you have problems creating scripts or creating programs in Python, have an understanding of the vernacular, and so at the minimum, you can at least read it.
Right.
For example, with Unix shell scripting, for a very long time, I wasn't able to do that. It was kind of alien to me, but eventually you start reading it to the point where, okay, I may not be able to write it from scratch, but I can read it and know exactly what it's doing. So same with Python, if you can do that. That's really helpful. That'd be very helpful at minimum for troubleshooting, even better for fixing things that are just broken along the way. So you can alter those scripts because you know what variables need to be changed.
For sure. No, I definitely agree with that. I always try to like PowerShell, even now, like with the CLI, with and Linux and stuff like that. Just being able to look at some of the things, even though I might not entirely know everything I need to know about that specific script or what's happening, being able to read parts of it and have like an understanding, like, oh, well, it's trying to do this, or it's trying to call this, that's helped me out a ton,
Mm-hmm.
So having that fundamental knowledge behind it, I think it helps. Because I agree. I mean, it would be difficult for me for PowerShell, for instance. That's something I've had years of experience with. It's still difficult for me to try to write something from scratch in it. But I could take somebody's script and pick it apart and know exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that's the in minimum, if for those folks, like I said, for myself who has trouble writing something from scratch, being able to pick it apart is better than not knowing it at all, and it's huge to be able to know how that works.
Right, and the video I just put out last week about the new A+, they added scripting to the new A+ objectives, which is that's crazy. Like, it's really awesome that they've done that, because it just shows you how much scripting is being used nowadays.
Yeah. It's actually, if anything, I think it's also a commentary on the A+ as well. I mean, showing my age at some point, really, when I first started with the A+, or looked at the A+, it was primarily really how to build a box. There wasn't there's barely much anything to that other than here IRQ settings and things like that. It's a completely new
memorizing all the IRQs. Forget that. I'm glad I never looked at the A+ back then. I would have stabbed myself in the eyeball.
Agreed. Yeah, back then, I was kind of like, don't get me wrong, I love building boxes and stuff like that, but I don't want to memorize every single PCI standard out there.
Right. Nuts. So, is there anything else you want to share with everybody? I know you said you only had like a half hour, so I don't know how long we've been going.
What do we got? Oh yeah, I got a couple more minutes, but yeah, I guess we'll do a regular live stream. I guess at some point, and then if it has any questions in regards to security,
go to the Discord server where you hang out all the time.
I'm on the Discord server. I leave that up. It's funny. I leave the Discord server along with my work.
Slack
all the time. Yeah. So it's like I've got like 3 sets of systems on there, or 3 forms of chat on there. God help me if somebody tries to hit me up on Signal at the same time. But and then family members on Facebook. So go figure that. If anybody's got any questions,
and me harassing you on Facebook too.
Oh yeah, that'd be fine. You know what? Actually, here's a big thing. And this, once again, I think this is a big thing why Zach and I have met. And we're able to get along as well as we have, and why I admire what you do is your mission though has always been helping people. That's been evident since the very, very beginning, and I think that's really admirable. I've got a great career, and thus far there's still more down the road to go. But working in security, I could not ask for a better road to have gone down, and I want to share that with other people. I want other people to find out how to get in security, or really any other form of IT that they want to get into. But there's a lot of stuff that within security that I think is not only helpful to other people and the world in general, just by making things more secure, but really giving folks a path to a great potential set of jobs that they can apply to and go for. So I want to help you out with that. Anything I can for this next live stream. If anybody has any questions, queue them up, get them ready. When Zach announces the live stream, we'll do it. If you want to reach out to me directly, a big thing. Let me add this. This is my number 4 actually also, and this was actually taught to me by a coworker who went to USC. Personal branding is oddly enough very big within, I think, almost anything within IT. Having your Twitter, Instagram account, something public that shows you are, but not necessarily, your cat photos or your dog photos or anything like that, but showing that you're communicating with the rest of the industry, or that you have a beat on the industry. If you follow my Twitter, you can see that it's at Howitt on Twitter. You'll see that it's mostly, you've got some personal stuff, but at the same time, it's got sprinklings of security information, particularly when you have large breaches or anything like that might affect you, or something like that. Fact. One of the recent things we've seen is that had been on the news was Facebook was giving access to personal, your chat messages to certain companies, including Netflix. Crazy, huge potential violation of privacy, whether that falls in, and then there's a legal aspect of that that's completely debatable, but it's something people need to know. So if you are on top of that, and you can show companies that you are also on top of that and broadcasting that as well, it's impressive. It's impressive. It shows that you are on top of things. So please, feel free to hit me up there if anybody wants to. But in the meantime, we'll be on the live stream later and taking questions. And we can chat away, Zach.
Right. It's at HOWITT, right?
That's me.
Yeah. So put it in the chat. Yeah, they can find you on the Twitter. They can tweet at you.
I think IT Career Skills is asking what's our favorite con to attend.
Yeah, what's your favorite con to attend?
Oh, that's tough because once again, the security geek in me still loves Black Hat and DEFCON. It's actually the triple threat, and Zach, you need to go to this too.
B-sides
is it's like a whole nother culture on top of that. So it's a lot of people seem to they kind of tend to know each other, but it's a lot more intimate as opposed to DEFCON, which I love DEFCON, but B-sides has that small con feel kind of thing. So I would definitely I love going to those three. If I can't go to Black Hat, then just hitting DEFCON and B-sides is awesome. If I had to do a second place, it would be AWS Reinvent, but that's only because Amazon just has an amazing set of resources that are available to folks who want to get in the cloud. So okay. If we want to get into AWS,
if you just look at it, it just looks like a big giant party. It's like, oh my gosh.
They closed the night with a huge party with, I forget who I think this past one was, I don't remember this past one. I remember my first night of AWS Reinvent, the opening DJ was Shaquille O'Neal. And won by DJ Diesel, and then they closed it out with DJ Snake, I think, at the end of it. But yeah, it's not a cheap. That's not a cheap comp by any means whatsoever. You get a lot of information out of it, probably more than you deal with. If you are not ever able to attend AWS Reinvent, though, all the videos and all the talks should go up online. Like weeks, if not earlier than that, afterwards. But definitely, I personally prefer the security ones just because you're able to interact with the folks in the community and get perspective on solutions that maybe you didn't have before.
Yeah, I learned a lot just from going to Black Hat. I mean, that was a great experience. I hope I can go again next year. I'm hoping with the Learn Cybersecurity channel that we can make some things happen.
If between IT Career Questions, Learn Cybersecurity, we could even set up a meetup at that point. I have no doubt, because I'm sure you have enough folks who will be interested in knowing what talks they should jump into and where to go. And if anything, that is one thing that can be I've met a number of folks who said they were just intimidated by Las Vegas. I don't blame them. It's a big city with a lot of noise.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
During Black Hat, actually, there was one young man from University of Pennsylvania who had won a scholarship to Black Hat. He had no idea where to go. I just said, hang with me and the guys. You'll be okay. It's always nice if you don't know anybody at those conferences to find somebody. I have no doubt this next year we can make that happen for anybody who wants to attend.
Yeah, for sure. That would be fun to set something up for next year. Yeah. I'll have to start planning that out. Hopefully we can make something happen. But really quick before we end this thing here, Zazen69 asks quick tips for people looking to get into IT. I kind of do those all the time. So what are your quick tips? Love to hear your opinion, your thoughts.
Quick tips for learning IT. Learn what it is you want to focus on first. What it is, I think you commented on this before. What is it that you have a passion for that you're interested in? IT is vast. IT is huge. And if you don't know the path of the roadmap that you want to take, which once again, watching these channels and doing the research would help out a lot. Learn what it is you want to do, and then you can figure out how to get there. The biggest quick tip is, okay, if you want to, from my personal experience as far as security is concerned, if you want to get into security, learn networking. Very, very first tip. Subnetting at the minimum. If you don't take your CCNA or you don't even take the Network Plus or any of the network, learn subnetting and at least show that you understand it, so that there is communication during an interview or something like that. You can show to the interviewer, I understand networking to this level. If you can get past that and understanding the concepts behind router switches, proxies, and stuff like that, research that as well. That's really, if you're going to get any of the engineering level stuff, whether it be network or that or security, understand the networking. Also, other quick tips: read about the news constantly. I know some folks hate to read the news constantly, stuff like that, but from a security standpoint, things spin on a dime. You'll find companies going up and down, getting bought and sold. You want to stay on top of that. You want to know what companies are what they're doing, what their next technology is. It wasn't that long ago that all we needed was antivirus on our boxes, and that was it. There's now the big consensus of like maybe antivirus. There are some companies that are actually saying, to heck with it. We're not going to use antivirus. We're not going to put our antivirus on our boxes at all. We'll do it on the perimeter. We'll do it on the firewall, and we'll put other things locally on the computer. There are different schools of thought on how to get things done with security. Research that. Learn how to do that. Find out what everybody's doing, because it's different for everybody. That's not so much a quick tip, because there's a lot of work involved with that. But I think the last one really, just on my own mindset, is join a community. Really, with the folks here at IT Career Questions. If you have something local for your meetup, meet people, get out there. I actually attend at least 3 or 4 different communities here in the LA area, including cloud security, OWASP, and things like that. We've got an application security conference coming up next month. You meet a lot of people there that are more than happy to talk to you. And regardless of where you are in the industry, you're going to find that even the guys who have the letter C in front of their name are very approachable, who attend those things, and can give you tips on how to get into their particular company, or if they have tips on really spaces that are hired for folks who may not necessarily have a full background already to go.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And I'll definitely get something on the books with you soon, hopefully, and then we can actually schedule the stream so everybody can tune in and ask all their questions, and hopefully we get some questions in beforehand so that we can have some stuff queued up to talk about. I know one thing I want to talk about a little bit is like application security that you just mentioned. But just talking about some of the different careers, like entry-level stuff, like entry-level careers within cybersecurity, and your thoughts on them and things like that.
Oh yeah, it's a whole world. I mean, like I said, as a lot of the folks they think about information security as solely hacking or pen testing, which, don't get me wrong, it's fun. I can definitely tell some war stories as far as that's concerned. But I think I've shared a couple of them with you already on top of that. But for sure, there are other facets to information security as far as the careers are concerned that we need people. I can't not stress that enough. This industry needs more analysts, and there was some number that says we literally need millions as time goes on, because every company is going to have some form of team set up for these type of things.
Hey, I'm writing something out here.
Yep. I'm just seeing if the NPC questions are. I think by the way, Landon V, who mentioned Violent Python as a book, that's a great Python book. I have that actually. That's an outstanding Python book. It's kind of on the advanced level, but for sure, if you want to talk about using Python for hacking, that's a great book. I'll
have to check that one out. Even though I hate books. Do they have that in like an Audible or something?
I cannot imagine a Python book in Audible. It actually be real slow.
That would be terrible. I'd probably cry.
Yeah, oh man, yeah. But if you're what was that? If you're here's your Audible commercial. If anybody is interested in hearing Audible books about security in general that are not technical as far as learning stuff is concerned, anything by Bruce Schneider is great. He's fun. Kevin Mitnick is always a fun read. He's more, you end up kind of learning he's really more of a social engineering hacker than a hacker, but for sure.
That's why I like him so much.
yeah. There's still respect. I mean, for everybody, there's a certain stigma among certain folks within the information security that he's not really a hacker because he's social engineering. You try and social engineer your way into energy company or something like that, or telco. That's not easy. So that one of the fun things at DEFCON is the social engineering village, where you're watching people just get on the phone and kind of con their way into stuff. It's
right.
fun to watch.
On the Learn Cybersecurity channel, I really want to go through like a scenario of social engineering, like something that I could, not potentially would do because I would never do it, but just how a engineering campaign could work. But
Right.
I'm terrified that YouTube will like see it and be like, "Oh, you're done.
Right.
Don't ever do that again." You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I would love to create like a fake website and send out emails and like just go through this like not a huge scenario, but like this little scenario that you could potentially use, right, to engineer someone.
If oh man, I'll squeeze this in right now. I still can. Social engineering toolkit in Kali, written by Dave Kennedy. He's occasionally you'll see him actually pop up sometimes on like Fox News as a head because he runs a company called Trusted Sec. I actually had the benefit of sitting down with him one time and he showed me the full blown toolkit. This is before he got really, really big. I did not take advantage of that because I didn't realize who he was at the time because I was brand new to the security community, so I feel really stupid for that. But I mentioned this, I think, in one of your previous feeds before. If you haven't, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it or not. Him and Kevin Mitnick on stage at DEFCON, social engineering company that had been kind of pre-vetted by Dave Kennedy to try and break into. I was in the audience for that. The audience was dead silent because it was amazing to watch them con their way into getting to compromise and really just pop a guy's box. And once again, leveraging PowerShell afterwards and just owning this company within a matter of minutes. I'll find the link if I can, and I think it's sent your way, but I'll find the link and send it. It's actually on for one of the DEF CON conferences, which was just amazing. So you want
social engineering 3 years ago would have been
something like that. Yeah.
I got the link. More.
Yeah, my shoulder's in there somewhere, kind of thing. But it's amazing. It was an amazing thing to watch.
It says Kevin Mitnick live hack at DEF CON, but I don't see anything about. No, it says they use the social engineering toolkit to run the exploit. Oh, and there's the link. Oh, maybe this could be it.
You'll know it's there if there's a guy dressed as a chicken.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a chicken on stage.
All right, you guys is dressed as a chicken on stage. That's the one. It's a great view. I mean, really, any of the DEF CON talks are great. Some are better than others, but that one was just amazing to be a part of. Kind of thing. It was like watching watching masters at work kind of thing. I could not talk enough about that. But yeah, awesome. I mean, that's what we want to talk. You want to touch on social engineering? That's a great way to necessarily do it so you don't get kicked off YouTube or anything like that, but definitely show like, this is what they do.
I know I got to be careful. There is definitely like a scenario that I want to run through. Like if I ever wanted to like test a company, like these are the things that I would do. This is how I would see if I could essentially hack or social engineer my way into gaining more information or access to their servers or whatever the case may be. But I have like this whole scenario built in my head. Like this would work. Like this is what I would do, and I know it would work. You know what I mean?
This is how I'd rob this bank.
Right? No, not that.
No, I know. But that's here's the thing: is that you're finding more and more pen testing companies not only leverage the networking side of breaking into companies, but they're also leveraging social engineering as well to test their own people to find out if they are security savvy enough to recognize somebody who's trying to con them and break in.
That's what I did at my last job. We used No before. We send out like fake phishing emails and stuff like that. But as I was going through it, like all the different Know Before like scenarios and stuff they had, I was like, they're missing something here. Like they're missing like a huge one that would like totally work. I'm like, I want to do it. I'm not going to say what it is because
hang on to that. Yeah.
It would take a little bit of work to do, but I mean, all in all, like it would probably take me like 3 hours to put this together and to launch it and then like just reap the benefits per se. You know,
That's not bad. Yeah, that's
not
bad.
that I would like do it. You know, I mean, I would do it to test a company out or something like that, but I would never like collect the information maliciously or anything like that.
No. Yeah. That obviously crosses that line that none of us want to get into. But for sure, if it's something that you can offer up and say, hey, this is a feature set for my pen testing offerings that I can give you. If it's a unique angle that KnowBe4 doesn't take or any other pen testing company doesn't take, go for it. I mean, that if anything, that adds a value to.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it being used that I know of. I'll chat with you about it offline.
Yeah.
Or off the stream. We'll talk about it.
I can't stop. I'm sorry. I got one person asking. I think Zach, I literally called Zach your friend. They're asking about GDPR and data security. GDPR is the European version of standards that need to be taking place for data security. There's a whole subset or maybe a major set of IT security that deals with that. So yeah, that's big as well. We'll get into that later, but for sure, don't that's not small potatoes. That's definitely a very, very large aspect of info security that people have very, very full careers on.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we're good for now. I think we covered a lot for our very what's the word I'm looking for? Just like a quick pull you into this live stream and chat with you. It's very random.
Saying that you were on. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'll hop on and see how it's going.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, sir.
No, I appreciate the offer.
We'll get something scheduled. So we'll make it a little bit more official, and we'll give you more time to talk about some of the things that you do, and you can share more of your knowledge because I greatly appreciate it. Might even do it over at the Learn Cybersecurity channel because that'd be the best place for it, right?
That it would. It would. I think that's where most appropriate to be. But and if let me know where you need me, I'll definitely be there because definitely it's once again it's I definitely love helping out folks. And if I can assist you in doing so,
I appreciate it, man. Really do. Really do. So that's all we got for today's live stream. Thank you, Mr. Kris Howitt, for coming on and chatting with everybody and sharing your thoughts, experiences, and all that. It's greatly appreciated, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. And just like the other viewers, I hope you guys have a great new year too.
Same to you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You guys all have a great and amazing day.